Hi, you.
I can see Hans has got his Elmo ready there, just in case we have some off-topic conversations. I have my Elmo as well. So today we're going to be looking at how to run a daily Scrum or introduction to daily Scrum. We want to have some conversations around that idea of what is a daily Scrum and how it works. While we get started though, we're going to do a little exercise here where I have 5 areas for 5 different teams, and in each of those areas we have 7 questions, and next to each of those questions we have a green tick or a red cross which you should be able to move around. Okay, and what I would like to do is I'm going to create some breakout rooms. I'll add people manually after, because there's Peter as well. There goes the neighborhood. Now Peter's here. You're on mute, Peter.
And his microphone is also up.
Yeah, and you've got your microphones up.
No, I've got a posh microphone like you.
Ah, posh microphones are very handy.
I deserved the first 5 minutes worth of abuse, so I left my microphone on mute.
Yeah, there we go. You're the comedy relief. So I was just introducing the fast pass exercise at the start. So what I've got is a bunch of statements that might be true or false in each of the boxes, and they've got a tick or a cross beside them. So just delete the one that you don't think it is. Does that make sense? So leaving a tick or a cross. If you agree with it, leave the tick. If you disagree with it, leave the cross. Not all of them are true and not all of them are false, and some of them Anna and I argued over. So that shows that even those of us who do it all the time are going to argue over some of them, and that's okay. So the color-coded hexes, because hexagons are the bestagons, is the way I look at it. I'm going to put you in 2 rooms. So room 1 will be Frank, Christian and Anna, and room 2 will be Buck, Hans and Sean. And we'll just start off there. I'll give you 7 minutes to go round the 7 questions. Okay? But obviously you don't have to go round them all, and I will sort everybody else out as they come in. So I've clicked to open the rooms. If you're in room 1, start off at the pink top left hexagon. If you're in room 2, start at the green bottom left hexagon. That has all your questions in it. Okay? Perfect. Okay. Hey Erica, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Hans, is there a pop-up that says going to a room, or a button at the top of your window next to the leave button, which says go to room 2, maybe? Enter room 2, join room 2. It's maybe just taking a second to spin up. Oh, we've got a little bit of reverb. I just muted you there because there was some reverb. It's just still spinning up. I've got a little spinner. There we go. And the only person that's not made it in is Hans. I'm going to click Ask to Join Hans. You should have a little pop-up that says Go to Room, or a button next to the Leave button at the top of your screen that says Join Room. Anything? Well, what I'll do is I will pop Erica. I'll pop you in room 2, and then I'll try and sort out Hans. He's the troublemaker today. So I think you should end up in the room in a couple of seconds, Erica.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Oh, that's... Hans, you have a lot of reverb I'm just muting you again, sorry. Let's try and assign you there. So I've clicked to assign you to another room. Let's see what happens. You should...
You mute. Well, you mute him. Yeah.
Yes. See, he's gone.
Okay, he's gone with the news to another room.
Yeah, I put him in room 1 this time. So hopefully that will help. I've still got a spinner. It's having trouble moving Hans. I think Hans is the troublemaker this time. It might be the client. He might be on the web client, or he might be on something that's just not quite responding properly. And I don't know where that reverb's coming from.
We have somebody else.
Ruth. Ruth, how you doing?
No. Leaving.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
We're not pleasant enough. I think sometimes when people pop in and there's only the two of us here because we're talking about what's happening in the breakout rooms.
Yeah, they think they are alone and they get us scared and they leave.
They're like, is it just me? No, it's definitely not just you. I forgot to put a timer on because I was dealing with Hans. So I'm going to add probably 4 minutes. They've had 3, 5, 6, 7. Probably had about 3 minutes. What do you think, Anna?
I would say 4. Yeah, 4.
Yeah. So I've added 4 to the timer. That's what they've got left. Room 1 has finished 3 questions. So that makes sense. Room 2 is not going in order, but that's okay.
They don't like the order then.
Yeah, they just don't like the order. That is fair. So I guess we're looking for differences here between
rooms.
Well, yeah. What are the contentious issues? If everybody agrees, but Daily Scrum is a time for the developers to provide a status update. Crosses. As soon as you hear the word status, there's always a cross in there. Held at the same time and same place. Same time and same place. I'm not sure it says that in the Scrum Guide anymore. I think it used to say that, but I think it just says, it might not even say anything anymore. Are you having a look?
Yeah, I think it says something, but not as specific as before, I believe. I'm going to check.
I quite frequently check the Scrum Guide. It doesn't mean that I'm going to do what it says.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to know whether I'm saying the right thing sometimes.
To reduce complexity, it is held at the same time and same place every working day of the sprint.
Okay. Well, there we go. It does still say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just to reduce complexity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. That's okay.
We can have a debate about that also.
Well, I think everybody agreed that same time and same place is a good idea. But then, unfortunately, nobody agreed. Well, maybe they did. Scrum Master is not required to attend the Daily Scrum.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got 2 green ticks for not required. So that's good. Mm-hmm. I don't see any inconsistencies there with the Scrum Guide, but there's definitely a little bit of confusion about the Scrum Master helps the developers keep the Daily Scrum short.
I think they are copying each other because it's the only one that.
Well, maybe they're just smart people who are picking the same answers. That could be it.
Yeah.
I'm just looking in the Scrum Guide to see if there's anything to do with Scrum Master helping the developers keep it short. I'm actually just going to search for the word short. Not because, well, for sure, shorter. No, I don't see anything about the Scrum Master helping them keep it short. But keep to the time, there we go, and keep within the time box.
Yeah. Hello. We have Geelong.
Morning, Geelong, or afternoon, or evening.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Are you at somebody's birthday party?
It's yesterday was my older daughter's birthday. Oh, I just put there.
I can see that.
Because
Welcome back. I think Sean and Erica scared Peter off. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
How did you get on, Frank?
We agreed.
I see that. There seems to be a lot of agreement here.
Yeah. Well, there was one help, which was of course a topic for discussion. The Scrum Master helping the team or the developers keeping the what did it say? What was the phrasing?
The
Yeah.
daily Scrum chart.
Oh yeah. Is it
What-
either help or coach or?
Isn't coaching a form of helping? I guess that would be my.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we could definitely debate the term help. Yeah. I would say in general, if I'm working with a team, that would be a pedantic thing to bring up. But in this case, where we're all practitioners, right? We can have those debates. But I think it definitely comes across as a little bit petty if we try and have those debates in front of teams. They start to talk about us as religious zealots rather than as coaches. But yeah. So I saw room one, which was Frank, Christian, Anna. There was one question. That was the question you didn't seem to answer, or you put the cross on top of the tick. Was there a reason for that?
Excuse me.
Christian?
Yeah, I mean, as we said, I don't think anyone would mind if the Scrum Master, started helping the developers keep the daily Scrum short, if they noticed that it was like an hour every day.
Uh-huh.
So, but just as a blanket statement, it's we were like unsure about it.
Yeah, and I think it's good to keep it short, but I wouldn't really be I don't think I would be worried if it was taking longer than 15 minutes. I'm going to talk about 15 minutes for a daily Scrum. This was the conversation that Anna and I had earlier as well, right? There might be more things that we need to talk about, and that's okay. And I think it's always been very explicit in the Scrum Guide that it's not a problem-solving event. You might, if you identify a problem and you're like, we need to have a chat about something else after the daily Scrum, you can end the daily Scrum and immediately have the same group of people having a conversation about this other thing that you need to talk about. That's okay. Right? Because how much planning should we do?
As needed.
Enough.
Right? As much as you need and no more. So we need to figure that out as we go.
Yeah, and right now in how we are working, that we're all working remotely, like having those time boxes so strict, even though the Scrum Master need to keep an eye on and keep those time boxes. We're working not collocated, so that also brings a little bit of friction by not being able to communicate all you need are trying to be so fast, and sometimes that's the reason it becomes a status meeting. So
That's what I'm inclined to do is set up a 15-minute meeting, and then immediately afterwards set up another separate 15-minute meeting, with the expectation that the follow-up meeting is the breakout, because I got fed up with people in Scrum meetings saying, Martin, I must talk to you about X. I've got a meeting. I've got a meeting after this. I'm too busy. I've got a meeting after this. And just in the ideal world, never use it. But then no one has got an excuse to go, I'm sorry, I've got a meeting after this. It's our meeting.
Yeah, and that's something that does quite often happen, is that I couldn't come to the Daily Scrum today because I had this customer meeting, right? And I'm probably on the same page as Buck here. I would say, well, no, you have a customer meeting either 15 minutes later, right? What's the big deal for the customer for 15 minutes? But you then get to be part of the Daily Scrum. You're aware of the context. You're part of creating that plan that we need. So not being involved in that context is very difficult. And that's something that I think I've told Peter before, and maybe Anna. But I worked in a Scrum team in Australia from Scotland. It was awesome fun. My boss at the time, Adam Cogan, he'd set it up as an experiment for how messed up could we make a team and still be successful, was his experiment. So I had me in Scotland. We had three people in Beijing, and 2 people in Sydney, Australia. So the time zone shift, I mean, there was 6 hours between me and Beijing, and then another 4 hours between Beijing and Sydney, right? So it's a massive, massive time shift. So I had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do my daily scrum, which was evening for everybody else, right? The Australians were just about to go home. And then I would go back to bed, right? Because it's like 6 a.m. But one of the difficulties that we had was, what happens if you're in the situation, this was a consulting organization, you get pulled off that project to go work for a customer for a little bit. What happens when you come back to your team? Well, now am I going to be disruptive by turning up and going, hey guys, what's going on? Right? What are we working on today? What are you working on? Can I help you with something? Oh, really? We're working on it like that? Why can we have a conversation about this architecture that you've already had, but I wasn't involved in, so I want my input too? And now I'm being disruptive to the team. So we actually had a rule that if you get pulled off and you have to come back, you have to ask to rejoin the team. And the team might say you can rejoin at the next review and retrospective. You know, come for the review, stay for the retrospective, stay for the next sprint planning, and then you rejoin the team that way. Because then you're less disruptive, because you're involved in the context then. Or maybe I was away for short enough time that I could just slide into the team. Or maybe, Frank, the team has decided that they were more effective without me.
Did they?
I don't know that. I don't know. I'm not actually. They'd probably message you at some point and say, yes, we agreed Martin was not useful for the team. But I know that did happen. But I don't remember whether it was me. That's maybe my faulty memory. My wife says I have the same faulty memory. If it's something negative, then you delete it from your brain. But it definitely happened, and it's perfectly reasonable, right? There's not a negative thing in that. There's not everybody is great at working with every group of people, right? There are people that I have worked with in the past that I wish I had the choice not to work with them in the past. No, not you, Peter. It wasn't you. It wasn't you, Peter. Peter and I worked on an engagement previously at a big consulting company. It was a lot of fun.
You have a history.
Yes, we have a little bit of history. But it's one of those things that, you know, not everybody's compatible, and that needs to be okay because we're all humans.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, I think we'll jump straight into this. Why is your daily scrum ineffective? We're going to use the output a little bit later, or at least I hope we are. Peter knows about my timing problems. So I'd like to do a little 1, 2, 4 all for this. So I'm going to give you 1 minute on your own to answer the question: what are all of the activities that make your daily Scrum ineffective? What makes your daily Scrum ineffective? Okay, so I'm going to put 1 minute timer on for you to silently and on your own come up with a list of things. Feel free to add them to the mural if you want, rather than writing them down. I'm okay with both. And I will create some rooms with pairs. How many people do we have now, Anna?
We have
9. So that's four breakout rooms. No. Yes. 4 breakout rooms, but then I'll have to do something because there's no pinning. I can't exclude somebody from the random breakout room generation. So now I have to go, oh, perfect. I like it when it puts you in a room with 2 other people and then I don't have to go rearrange a bunch of stuff. There we go. So we're going to do a little... we're going to do 2 minutes in pairs and then roll straight into 4 minutes in 2 pairs. And what I'd like you to do in each group is when you go into your pairs, take your lists that you just created and merge them together. So you end up with one list. And then when you go into the room with 2 pairs, right, you'll be bringing 2 lists again, 2 merged lists, merge them together again. So we have one list. Since there's 4 rooms, we should end up with 2 lists at the end. And then we come back to the main room, we can merge them together again, okay? Perfect. So I'm going to click open. If everybody's on the mural, I'll summon to that spot for the exercise where you can put these things in. What makes your daily Scrum ineffective? I'm going to change that from activities to things. All of the things that make your daily Scrum ineffective. Oh.
They can be.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still opening. Tolu's off into the room.
Yeah.
This is the bit that actually sucks when you're doing a public one, because if one person leaves at this point,
yeah, it breaks the rooms.
It breaks the rooms because somebody's in a room on their own when you do pairs. So what I did for a while at the start of doing these exercises was there's a way in Teams to lock the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it is now. There's a meeting option to stop more people coming in. And that way you at least stop people hopping in and hopping out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
you cannot avoid people leaving.
You can't avoid people leaving, no, but you can avoid people popping in for 30 seconds and then disappearing again just as you're creating the rooms. That was really bad when we did the first couple of sessions. But we did everything, people signed up directly in Teams. Now with I think Tolu's not managed to either make it into the room or he's gone off to do something else. But luckily he ended up in a room of Peter and Anna as well, so.
There.
Oh, I'm going to put that 1 minute. I'm too busy talking to you, Anna. I forgot about the timer.
When you asked about the number, I was sharing the link in LinkedIn, so it happened the same.
4 to 1, 3 to 2, 3 to 2, and I don't think I can do anything about Tolu. I'm going to put him unassigned. So I have a big box in front of your face at the moment, Anna, because I've got the reassign participants window up and I can't move it because it's a model dialog box. That's some ridiculous UX design there.
We've seen each other a lot today, so no problem.
Yeah, well, we spent about 3 hours putting this workshop together this morning, so I think that's what you need is a box for my face, right? That's what
Can do this.
So time's up. Hit the submit button. I try and remember to pre-set up the move, and then you just hit the submit button. But again, if somebody leaves halfway, then when you hit the submit button, Teams goes, I couldn't move people, and then you have to go move each person manually. That bit's a pain in the butt. Oh, but this has worked nicely. This has worked nicely.
I see there is people that joins these free workshops regularly, like Anna or Peter.
Yeah, Peter comes really often. Anna comes often. Julong, I think, has been to everyone. Erica came to one, and then she's been at everyone since. And Christian was in my class last week, so
Okay.
he's coming along to see what it's all about. I guess what we're talking about. But he's quite an experienced Scrum Master. He brought he brought his CEO and his product owner to the PSPO last week, which was a lot of fun. Was it last week? I think it was last. Yes, it was last week. It all melts together sometimes.
You had a busy last week.
Last week wasn't so bad because I had a product owner in the morning and the PSM in the afternoon was cancelled. So I had half days, but then I ended up having lots of little bits of things. But half days are good for handling those little bits of things that you don't normally get to handle. The training's the value, and then there's all the other stuff to do with the focus, not to do with directly to do with the goal that week.
That need to be done.
They need to be done, right? You need to do that. You need to do the customer calls. You need to do the, because I do a lot of 30-minute training reviews, like assessment reviews, and then sometimes people just want to chat. So I get coffees on my schedule and all kinds of things. I actually missed one earlier. I had somebody I wanted to meet up with earlier, but I went out to get lunch just before and ended up stuck in traffic, and I didn't make it back in time to jump on that call. So I had to message them, can we do tomorrow?
So, so then a lot of people book those 30 minutes coffee.
I have it limited to one coffee per day, and one. So there's a bunch of different types of sessions. Because I've also got the if you take a training class, I do the one-on-one on hours consulting basically. So sometimes people book that as well, and I limit that to one per day, so I don't fill up my whole day with lots of those things. But it means I actually have to book all of the training off of my calendar all the way into the future, at least 3 weeks into the future, so that they don't book over that time. There is 1 minute 14 left. There's one big list and one tiny list.
Yeah, I was checking what they are writing.
Wow, somebody's put Taylorism on the big list. That must be the room that Peter's in. Oh, well, actually, I guess it could be Christian or Erica, as well as Peter or Anna. Or even Geelong. I guess it could be anybody. So, multitasking, people talking too much. Yes, we have that problem. Taylorism, waiting their turn only. People are not there to listen. Too much focus on what I did yesterday. Solutioning. No coherent sprint goal. That's definitely an impediment.
Yeah.
Shared ownership. Too many people. No coherent team. That sounds harsh. Where are we for time? It's just 10 seconds left. I'm going to kick the close button at like 5 seconds because there's a delay. There we go. I always feel like there's less of a delay for people coming back, but
Hey guys.
hey. Hey, Jovan, Geelong. Christian, Peter, Frank, everybody's back. Awesome. So we had quite a lot of things on that top list there, but not so many things on the bottom list.
We didn't get to the filtering. We were asking ourselves, well, it's a 1, 2 for all, so do we have to, put things together and eliminate stuff, yes or no? So we didn't get to the elimination.
Well, is that at the top or the bottom?
Top.
At the top, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so room 2 was at the top. We'll get multitasking, Taylorism, waiting their turn only. Is that what's that?
That's Vision, I think.
Yeah, it means having the mentality of I'm just showing up, I'm waiting my turn, I'm gonna speak, and you're disengaged the whole time, all the time. Maybe even disengaged while you're speaking yourself. I've heard that.
Yeah, not actually listening when you're speaking yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Just reading the name of the card, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Too much focus on what I did yesterday. Is the Daily Scrum there to discuss what we did yesterday? Is the purpose of the Daily Scrum to talk about what we did yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just checking, Anna, where that's coming from. It usually flashes. I'm pretty sure it's Frank. I just muted Frank. Sorry, Frank. It's gone now? Nope. Yes.
No worries.
There was just a weird fuzzy.
Microphone. I believe it's your microphone.
Oh yeah, it's rubbing on your shirt. Yep.
All right, I heard that before. Yeah, my other one is out of battery, so I'll do like this, and it won't disturb you. Sorry.
It's okay. Peter, what did your group discuss?
I put a long list which I've just assembled. I was about to drop it into the mural, so where is the damn mural gone?
You'd think you'd not been to one of these, Peter.
I have been one day. Where the hell's it gone?
Going into the details, recap all of the meetings from the previous day. Your team's too big. That can be an impediment, can't it?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was about to drop this lot.
There's mouse moving around, so he's definitely there.
Yeah, I am. I just want to add a sticky. Right.
Oh, so if you just click in a space.
Hey, oh.
There you go. That's the magic way. Yeah, deep diving too much chitty chat. Oh, it sounds like we've got some dupes. People talking too much. Oh, where's the chitty chat one? Too much chitty chat. Deep dive. Sounds like solutioning. What I'm going to make yours a little bit bigger. There, Peter. They were very small. Not start. Oh. I removed you from the chat, apparently. We'll just delete that one.
You got all the power, man.
I tried to remove him, but it didn't work. He's still here. People on multiple projects arriving late.
And leaving early.
Yeah, that's that meeting block that we're talking about. Not engaging. Lack of energy. I'm seeing if there's too many people with too big. Right? People on multiple projects. Tech team lead as for update meeting. Hijacking the meeting for a status meeting for the team lead. Is that what that is, Peter?
Yeah, the ask Mr. Kayoff.
Not sharing, no trust, not focusing on value. Treat as update, not a plan. Right? These are a lot of things that I know Anna and I see as problems in team after team after team. They're not uncommon problems to have. Having all of them in one team would be a bit scary. But they're all reasonable things that we see that contribute to the ineffectiveness of teams. Anna, would you like to introduce this exercise, the card sort, while I put the cards in the right place for us?
Yeah. So right now what Martin is doing, we have some cards and we want you to sort them based on if those cards belong to the purpose of the daily Scrum or they do not belong to its purpose. Okay. And how are we, Martin? Are we going to make groups, 2 groups or 3 groups? What number of groups are we going?
I was thinking that we should do 3 groups, and one of us should participate in a group to make it up to 3. Because we all know 2 people is a conversation, 3 people's an argument, and we want people to have some arguments.
Okay.
So if I do 3 rooms, but just let you fall into a room as well.
Yep.
Then we can do that. So I've added the 3 layouts to the room. So you've got this is about the Scrum. So we've got purpose and not the purpose columns, and a bunch of cards. And some of them go under purpose, and some of them go under not the purpose. Okay, it's pretty much that straightforward. So it's sorting the cards into those columns. Let me just quickly lock the background there. Because otherwise that will be nasty. The cards are free to roam, and I've locked the background. So I'm going to start a timer. I'm going to give you 5 minutes.
Okay, when Erika had to leave,
Oh,
so I believe your breakout rooms are broken.
Yeah, she might join later. But,
Yeah.
let me.
Yeah, I have to leave soon later. I have another meeting in the afternoon. I mean here.
So let me do 2 rooms then.
yeah.
But
And
you
that-
can set your room. I'm very happy with that, Martin. If you-
Yeah. I've got you there as well.
Okay.
I've got you there. So that's 4 and 4. So just use room 1 and room 2. And at the end of 5 minutes, I'm going to leave you in the room for an extra 2 minutes, but I'll uncover the answers on the right there, so you can then go what we intended to go in which room, okay, which column. So I've clicked to open it. I'll pop into room 1 and help them out. You're in room 2, Anna.
Okay. So people on the stream won't see anything.
No, they will follow me.
Okay.
They'll follow me because I'm the host, so that's okay. There we go. Everybody's in the. Off they go, and then I'll join room 1. So you might see a little flicker.
Who has control over Miro? I'm on a cell.
I have a mural.
Oh.
So eliminate the need for other meetings. I would say that's not the purpose.
Correct.
And then focuses on the progress toward the sprint goal. I would say that's a purpose.
Yeah.
Quick decision making also.
It helps it. Checks for blockers. Yeah.
All right. Review the status of each of ongoing tasks. I don't think so.
It's not the purpose. Yeah, you get to the right. Who else is with us? So what's
Peter and Martin and
Christian.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm just finishing up a burger.
Yeah, no, but when I agree with you, I'll start the argument. If not, Martin, I'll argue on some other subject just for fun.
Yeah.
And that update status to the right. It's
Where is it? Update status. Oh yeah, update the status. No. Oh, sorry.
yeah, not
Then creates focus and improves sales management. I would say so.
yeah. Actionable plan for the next day. This could be a gameplay, so it's for the current day.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And then review what was accomplished yesterday. Check the progression of the sprint goal. I would say purpose.
Correct.
I missed. What was the last one?
That was the last one.
I highlighted the one that I did with eliminate the need for the meetings. I do think that is the purpose, or like at least part of the purpose of a daily scrum. So you're getting everyone together, you're making a plan, and then hopefully you don't have to have a lot of other regular
Okay, well,
meetings, syncing
Okay,
and stuff.
well, okay, I would argue about two things I'd argue about, and one of these I had to ask Martin the question. Martin, when you said the next day, did you mean the 24-hour period from this moment forward, or did you mean the? Because I assume that I would have read that as the next day, meaning from the current day.
Yeah, so I would read that as if we did it at 8:45 in the morning, the next day is today.
Yeah, the rest of today.
The day, but we might have our daily scrum at 4:45.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, we might have it at 4:45, Peter. We don't want to keep people after 5. So we have it at
To be quick.
4:45, and then they're planning the next day. So I think, and if you did it at lunchtime, maybe it would be the next day would be until the next daily.
Yeah.
Yeah. 24 hours does make sense, but it's not phrased that way anywhere I've seen it.
Okay. And then, so I think that was a clarification of title was meant. And then my other question was, and then, I don't think it's about reviewing the accomplishments.
Yeah, well, where do you come from? Where do you go?
I suppose I would argue that there's a moment of trust that when Martin said that he was going to sort out our DevOps problem and get us access to the non-production environment, yesterday at our stand-up, and then today when he told me he's going to do something else, I trust Martin. I know that he's accomplished that. If I really can, I go and look it up in the Scrum board. So
okay. Yeah.
He doesn't need to tell me he's done that. Now,
Yeah, it's the word review. Review, that's the wrong word. It's not about reviewing, indeed.
So now, if someone in the security police had stopped him accomplishing what we wanted to get done, then I would expect him to say, didn't do X, I'm going to get that done today, or I can't do it, we'll push it into next week, which is really just talking about blockers and things. It's not a review per se, would be my opinion there.
I think I agree. So that would mean this, right?
That would be my view.
Yeah. And I think what Christian said, eliminate the need for other meetings. I have a problem with the word eliminate. I think even in the Scrum guide it says something like that, developers will meet whenever it's necessary, but at least you have one or something to that end.
It's not its primary purpose. If it accomplishes that, then that's great. We've got a side effect.
Yeah.
We've got a byproduct. Its purpose is to know what we're doing in the next 24 hours.
Yes.
So,
Christian?
I am going to open out the answers over here. And I'll just try and bring a copy of the answers across for you, because that will... Because Christian is correct on his...
Yeah.
Okay. So that one, eliminate the need for other meetings, is a direct quote from the Scrum Guide. So in the Scrum Guide, it says daily scrums improve communications, identify impediments, promote quick decision making, and consequently eliminate the need for other meetings.
Ah, yeah.
okay.
There you go.
Right, and then you've
say all other meetings, right? So that's the nuance.
Yeah, it doesn't say all other meetings, right? There's still going to be other things. We still have to meet with the customer. We still have to, do refinement. We still need to do all of those things, but we want to minimize the number of other meetings. So there's one extra one I should have. That's my bad. Let me. There we go. So which is the one that you've got on the left? So the one that you had incorrect on the right-hand side was eliminate the need for other meetings. Right, that one. There's one on the left that shouldn't be there. Promotes quick decision making, creates focus, improves it, checks. There we go. Yep. Checks if we have individual or team blockers. Is definitely not the purpose. So I'm just going to go back to the main room and then call everybody back, okay? Oh, we're getting better. I had an audio failure there. I had a little... Julong, are you still with us? No, Julong's not still with us. Maybe he is.
Yes,
Oh.
I will leave like in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a nice workshop. I don't want to leave, so I have no choice.
Anna and I spent 3 hours on it this morning, so we
Here, our time zone is not time zone. Our time is changed to winter time.
oh yes.
Yeah, so 12:30 to 2 o'clock. Normally I have the meeting between 1 and 2 in the afternoon. Before it was okay. Right now, I mean,
Yeah, you'll have to move that other meeting. That's so in my room, Anna, we had two ended up in the wrong place, which was eliminate the need for other meetings, ended up on not the purpose, and check if we have individual or team blockers ended up on purpose.
Yeah, in my room, the same about the blockers ended up in purpose, and also review what was accomplished yesterday and check the progress of the spring goal. Those two. Yeah. Yeah,
because that those three questions that used to be so prevalent in the daily scrum. What did we do yesterday? What are we doing today? And what's blocking us is the reason for those two things. But those questions were only ever defined as a complementary practice to help us get to the outcome that we want, which is replanning the next day's work.
Yeah, and sometimes answering those questions ended up in a status report.
Yeah, and in fact, I would think I would put those questions. What did I do yesterday? What am I doing today? What's blocking me? Doesn't sound like very team orientated questions or very goal orientated questions, right? Mm-hmm. So I do very much prefer looking at the value and saying, here's a piece of value on the board. Is it progressing? Is it something we need to talk about? And then all the people that are involved in delivering that value can talk about it together. Or maybe only one person talks, because that's what makes sense for that moment in time. Right? There's no requirement for everybody to speak in a daily scrum.
There's no magic recipe for the daily scrum. It can be very different from one day to another depending on what the team needs.
Yep. There's no formula that's going to apply to every daily scrum. The thing that we're supposed to get out of it is a plan for the next 24 hours for the next day's work.
I think as soon as you remove the formula, you remove the crutch and you make life harder. You're suddenly saying to people, plan some value for me. Well, no, all I want to do is, I did this yesterday, I'm going to do this today, I'm blocked by something, I can walk away now. Where if you say, plan me some value, that's such a much harder question.
They have to think about it. They have to look at what's the things that we're doing, how are they impacting what we're trying to achieve, and figure out what's the best next thing to do to get value moving across. Yeah, you're right, Peter. That's hard.
Yeah, Peter, you know what I'm doing right now? I'm sending in a team, I'm sending people into breakout rooms to discuss. I'm not there, and they discuss in between them, and then they come back and they share. So they are the ones that need to build that plan. and I'm not involved, and they don't need to report to anybody. So I forced it that way. They analyze the data they have, and they come back with a plan.
So during the stand-up, you divide them in breakout rooms, and then within, say, 5 minutes, they come back and they share their individual
plan. Yeah, and they then in the main room they come together to a plan. They agree on a plan.
Okay, but does that mean that the breakout sessions or the breakout rooms also automatically lead to some kind of cooperation between those?
Yeah, exactly. It's like when Martin sent you into 2-4-1
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah, it's the same idea, same techniques.
But do you let them decide themselves which breakout session they will join?
No, it's I do it differently every daily.
Okay. So the way I do it when I'm creating breakout rooms, and it's actually the easiest way because the tools support it the best, is you just create random rooms.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter who's together, right? And that's actually kind of a good thing, and it's kind of why I do random rooms for every different exercise as well. So even if you did 2 rounds of those planning, you put people with different groups of people, so you get different ideas, different pollination coming out of it each time. If you put the same people together all the time, you'll get the same answer all the time.
Yeah.
And it's great having the designer of the team with the backender of the can decide and share. So
yeah, having cross-functional is
but do they come up with a joint plan or a individual plans?
They come with a joint plan about, well, of course each one has to do different things, but they share it and they come to the main room and share. And for there 2 backenders in, they decide together. So it's like it's an agreement with the team.
Okay.
So yeah, the way I think about it is that you send them out into breakout rooms. They each come up with their plan. They bring it back to the main room, and then you're joining those 2 plans, right? If you've got 2 breakout rooms, you join those 2 plans together. But they might individually and separately come up with very different ideas about how we should proceed. And you get them back together, and one group's like, oh yeah, we never thought of that. Right? And if we were just in the main room, they might not have thought of that at all. They might have only picked one way, because maybe there's... Frank, do you remember we talked about, before we went live, we were talking about board games for a little bit? And we talked about Pandemic. Yeah. And you've got that hero that runs the story and tries to tell everybody. I can't remember what it's called in gaming, right? There's a name for that type of person. The alpha player who's trying to tell everybody else how to do the thing because they know best how to win, right? Rather than letting people make their own decisions, discover mistakes themselves. And by doing breakout rooms, you're effectively isolating that alpha player from the other room's discussions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's quite an interesting technique. I would say I'm dying to try it with a live team, but I do it all the time in courses with groups of people who are trying to solve problems and come up with ideas well. Very rarely do I do breakout rooms in a class giving everybody the same question and you get 4 rooms come back with exactly the same story. Right, everybody comes up with different ways to solve the problem, and it starts another discussion, which is great.
I have a question regarding the one not purpose. Like review what was accomplished yesterday, and check the progression of the sprinting goal. I doubted about that, and was like during the daily, we could talk about the progression of the sprinting goal, if we are on track or not. Even we are building our plan, we needed to make sure the plan is on track towards the progression of the sprinting goal, right?
Yeah, and if that card had just said review progress towards the sprint goal, then I would definitely have it on the left. But review what was accomplished yesterday is the red herring. Right? That's the bit that negates that statement and puts it on the right. It's not about... I don't really care what was accomplished yesterday. Where are we currently and how do we move forward is the important discussion. How do we plan what's next? Because remember, Julian, something I think to remember is that this is not the only time that the team ever talk to each other. This is just the defined time for us to get together and replan what's next. I would expect a professional team to be talking to each other constantly, to be updating each other when they have problems, and I'm stuck, I'm going to involve some other team members and see if anybody can help, and collaborate with them. If I finish a task, I'm not going to go pull something new first. I'm going to see if anybody on my team needs some help. Right? So if we're working in that collaborative way, then we should be able to keep the daily focused on the thing that we want, which is what's the most important thing for us to do over the next day's work to get towards our goal.
Yeah, I think I know the main point for this activity, but personally I still feel the review what was accomplished yesterday, and another one check if we have individual or team blockers. These two are still something that we could bring up during the daily.
I think you can certainly bring it up.
Yeah.
Right? We're definitely not saying don't bring it up, but not the purpose. Does that make sense? Like if it helps, if it serves the team to help us get to the purpose, do it. If you find that stops working for you, because what happens a lot is you do it the same all the time and then you become mechanical. Everybody's just answering the question like a robot so I can get back to work and not have to talk with anybody anymore, right? And I don't care what you're working on and I don't care what I'm working on either. So keep changing it up, keep doing it differently. Do breakout rooms if they make sense. If you find people are being too mechanical, switch it up. Instead of focusing on what did I do yesterday, have a daily scrum. We're going to do something different today. We're going to look at the work item aging graph for our sprint, and we're going to make some decisions based on that. Or we're bored with that. We're going to look at something else. Oh, we missed some stuff. Maybe we should go back to look at that aging graph, or have lots of experiments. Do it differently every time. People get bored real quick when you do the same. One of the tenets of training from the back of the room is different trumps same. Right? Doing things differently is better, more cognitively rewarding than if you do it the same every time. Even if you do it differently and then, we had a crap daily scrum. Okay, well, it was one crap daily scrum. Right? That's okay. It's not the end of the world that we had one crap daily scrum.
So for this activity, we just needed to figure out what's the purpose. But in fact, even those items on the not of the purpose, they can still be used during the day. Yes.
Absolutely. Except when they inhibit the purpose, because the purpose is the thing we're trying to do. And I do see quite often some of those things, which is why Anna and I added them to the list, because we do sometimes see those things, or sometimes often see those things inhibiting our ability to get to the outcome that we're trying to achieve with the daily. So we just need to be careful, right? There are certain things that we know work and we know don't, but there's also things that sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And sometimes they work for a while and then they stop working, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the teams I work with will get soon bored about the breakouts, and I will have to figure out something else.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go to another one. I'll see you next time.
See you next time. Hopefully you can rearrange that other meeting that you have.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
So we have how many do we have now? We have 6 people. Oh well, that actually works out well for us, Anna, because that makes the next exercise easier, easier for me.
For you, because I wouldn't be able to split the rooms and do that.
Yeah, you need to be a little bit of a Teams breakout room guru to do this one. We're gonna do an impromptu networking exercise where we're gonna break out into pairs, and we should really hide those other questions, Anna. We didn't do that earlier. There we go. I'll just hide it like that. There we go. Perfect. Super simple. And what we're going to do, we're gonna do. Well, let me create 3 breakout rooms because there's 6 of us, and we'll do pairs. So 3 breakout rooms. Hopefully nobody else leaves in between. Otherwise, that's a little bit of the downside of public events. Is if I have you in a private or public training, you're trapped because you've paid to be there, right? But if not, then sometimes, although, you know, private ones, sometimes people have emergencies that they have to drop off for. So it's just less likely. So we're going to do impromptu networking. We're going to do pairs. So I've got rooms 1, 2, and 3. And you can see that I have columns here with room 1, room 2, and room 3, the blue, the pink, and the purple columns. And I'd like you to discuss in your pair that question. So the first question is, what would happen if we don't have a daily scrum? Okay, so adding some post-its in that space would make sense, and answering that question as a pair. At the end of 2 minutes, so you'll have 2 minutes to answer the question, I'm going to move one person from each pair to the next room. Okay, so you'll still be in a pair, but it will be another person. And then I'll do it again for the third question. So you'll have 3 different pairs within the same meeting. I did say it needs me to use my Microsoft Teams Kung Fu to make that happen.
Good luck with that.
I have done it before with 12 people successfully. I have done it before with 30 people very unsuccessfully. Yeah, the more people, the more complicated it is. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the room, and one of you will stay in the existing room and the other person will move to the next incremental room. Or I will completely mess it up. That's the other option that might happen. I think, Christian, I did it successfully with your group, didn't I? I did, yes. That was when it did work successfully. But it means I've got a little bit of homework to do to get it all to organise right. So, okay. Christian is pinned. Sean is pinned. And Frank is pinned. Okay. And they're starting at 1, 2, 3. you literally need a little table of, yeah, it's kung fu to. Oh, Sean's back. Did something happen, Sean?
Yeah, I couldn't. It was asking me to join again.
At the top of this meeting window, next to the leave button, do you have a go to room button?
Okay, I see it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, he just get kicked out. It was like a network snafu. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have my notes. I've got 2 minutes on the timer. Mm-hmm. They're creating their ideas.
Okay, so we have room. Okay, yeah, room 1. How many rooms do we have?
3.
Sunny's here. It's on hold.
Oh, yes, that's okay. It's if you drop out and then come back in and then click the button to go to the room, it puts you on hold.
Oh, okay.
It's just it's a characteristic. It's not a bug. It's a characteristic of the characteristic of the tool.
It's not a bug. It's a feature.
Well, it is a bit weird. I would rather everybody went on hold then they left the meeting, which is what happens in the lists, so that you get this little message saying they've lost access to the chat, and then they rejoin and have access to the chat again, but no history. That bit's annoying. But they're working on it. That's actually a bug. It's not supposed to do it that way. So we have 50 seconds left, so let me start up my engine of madness. So Frank is going to 1. Oh, that's the... all right, this is the people that are moving. Christian is going to 2, and Sean is going to 3. Okay, so that will be 3, 1, 2.
I like one that they are writing here. People will at some point set up something equivalent, but quite possibly only with a subset of the team. That's... Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna click the button. Open out question 2. And add 2 minutes. Oh, Peter's going sideways instead of vertically. I'm waiting for it to all set up, and then I can click the broadcast button and say, move on to question 2. Yeah, so the little broadcast button, the way Teams works very differently, completely differently from Zoom from a mechanical perspective. Right, what it's actually doing when you create breakout rooms is it's creating completely separate, independent meetings in Teams, so they can actually click the record button in there. They can do use all of the tools, and then when I do a broadcast, it just sends a message to each room. So if I go to my chat in Teams, it's got all of the rooms and all of the messages for all of the classes. So I might do 20 different breakout rooms for a class, and you end up with room 1s all over the place and room 2s. It's a bit mental. Yes, I can see what I'm thinking I want to do. This, so that they move on to...
You're guiding them. Yeah.
Well, I'm either that or I'm making life painful for them. That is also an option. Let me get... because there's only 14 seconds left. Oh.
I don't know if they know that they need to answer the second question. Yeah, they started.
Right. So I've got to do the assignment madness again. So Frank is going to room 2, except I've got him listed in room 2, so I've completely ballsed this up. Sean is going to room 1, and Christian is going to room 3. So the numbers I wrote down are crap, but I'm picking the right people, so that part is working out. I think people join some of these sessions just to laugh at my ability to do stuff. That's what I think.
Maybe that's why I'm here.
You're my support. Yes.
We have a Manolo here.
Well, we have found a bug with this exercise that I didn't seem to explain it properly to move to the next question.
Yeah.
But we'll see what people did when they come back. Maybe they answered the next question, but in the same row. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's a little confusing. Like when you move to the other, to another room, you have to skip to another question. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I could have done a better job of blocking off and having
We knew that this was going to be a little bit.
yeah, there's an experiment here for sure.
Yeah.
But next time we'll know to have it like a blind that goes down and stops them editing above. Yeah. Oh, I can hear my audio problem is transferring out to the stream. So apologies if you're on the stream. I have an audio problem with Teams. I am on a beta version of Teams. And this week I have had a weird audio noise that when I do breakout rooms, if I go into a breakout room and come back, it breaks the audio and I get a tone. But if it happens and Anna speaks, it goes away. So
Okay.
yeah, so we just have to let Anna speak and I'll shut up. There we go.
I don't know if I would manage to do this on my own. So speak, please.
Well, I'm going to close the rooms because I think we've had 2 minutes in that team. I didn't set a timer because we were trying to unsnafu them, but I'll bring them back. Oh, you're Joven.
As you don't have a plan.
What-
It would be so cool if Teams had that feature, like 3-second counter, like beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, to go back to the main room, or like Zoom.
Like Zoom.
Zoom mutes you when you come back to the main room.
Yeah.
But I actually find that really annoying because I'm a Teams user. I'm not expecting to be muted when I go back to the main room. So, yeah, that's kind of what happens a little bit there. So,
Focus.
so what happened about in my explanation?
That was lost on me.
Yeah, cool. No,
We were progressing downward, and I think I started deleting the black arrows because
you were like, what the hell are these things doing here?
who's accidentally pasting black arrows? I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it. Anna and I totally agreed that it was my dysfunction there, either not explaining it properly or not. I should have had the arrows in it, and the arrows appeared as I moved the thing down.
Yeah.
That would have been better. But I see it's kind of worked out. I can delete the arrows now. So Anna, would you like to debrief?
Sorry?
Would you like to debrief this one?
Yeah, so in room 1, about what would happen if we don't have a daily scrum. Let's see what we have in the 3 rooms. Anything that you see that we have a pattern in here? A lot of sync meetings. Slower decision making. Less focus. So anything, yeah. Less alignment. And something that I really found very interesting was people will at some point set up something equivalent, but quite possibly only with a subset of the team. That for me was I never thought about that, but it was surprisingly true. Did it happen to any one of you, this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, clandestine meetings with decisions coming from it that are not shared. Yes.
Okay. So should we jump to the next question, Martin, or?
Let's see on the time. I am not sure. What?
To the second question. What would?
Yes, I think we have time for that. Sorry, I was planning what's next in my head there.
So we have here high risk of not reaching it and lack of peer feedback. So this is what happens with if we don't focus on the sprint goal. Do you want to share anything about this? Who wrote it?
Well, I would say that, well, I think the first one's obvious, and there's not reaching your goal, not focusing on it, how early you're going to get there. But I think the other one's slightly more interesting, which is people might say, well, hang on, what about PO feedback on the move? Well, if you're not focusing on the goal, if you are focusing on the goal, then you're going to be suddenly say, hang about, should this be blue or green? And someone will go off and say to the product owner, do you want this blue or green? At which point you get some feedback and you do an in-sprint correction. If you're just ploughing along and doing whatever the hell it is, making bottles, or not focusing on whatever the goal is, is this red wine or white wine? What is the time now? I'm off to the pub in 15 minutes. So that'll be a job. Stay focused, Peter. Then you're not going to really deliver value. And again, I suppose that's about value. Focus on the goal. Find out what the issues are about reaching that goal. If it needs a course correction with your PO, go off and talk to your PO.
Yeah, and I believe that links with the next question, because if you don't have a goal, you cannot build a plan to reach something, right?
Yeah.
So risk and waste will be made, lack of focus, non-delivery, success is accidental, and no alignment. So
yeah, so some teams think that they're just unpredictable, right? Their predictability is low, but it can often be that they don't have a goal, so success then becomes accidental. Right? Why do we fail so many sprints? Right? Oh, because your goal is complete these 12. Right? So you might make it, you might not, and it will be random chance on whether you do or you don't. Right? How do the dice roll this this sprint?
Yeah. So yeah, without a sprint goal, we cannot plan to get to that goal, and without a daily, there is no specific moment to plan on the day to reach that sprint goal. So everything is really linked. Okay.
Yeah. Christian's furiously writing down things. Christian's a note taker. He's not actually ignoring us. So I think we should jump to the conclusion, Anna, because we have 11 minutes.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I'm doing better at the time thing, Peter.
Yeah, feedback is golden.
Yes, exactly. So I think if we can do 2 minutes each on the what, so what, now what. What I'd like you to do is just individually. Right, we're going to do 3 rounds. We're going to have 2 minutes for each round, and in round 1, we're gonna answer those questions. There are to help. Right, what happened? What did you notice? What facts or observations stood out? And you can go have a look around the mural, how people answered, to get some of those ideas. So what do you think happened during this this workshop? So I'll put 2 minutes on, and I'll do my usual hiding. So we're just adding.
I'm not sure what you're after here, Martin.
That
Same here.
That is okay, Peter. I'd like you to think about what we talked about, what you learned, and what happened during this sprint. Was there something that stood out for you?
So what's the critical lesson that I've learned?
Yes. What happened?
Okay. I hate to say it, I'll write it rather than say it.
Nothing is an okay answer, Peter.
No. One always learns something in life.
go on mute.
Actually, your audio's been okay, Frank, since back from the last camera.
Well, I now have another microphone. It was
Fully charged.
recharged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breakout sessions during. I still would like to talk about that a little more. A breakout session during the planning, during the daily stand-up.
I am
How that pans out.
Anna. Do you have a little bit of time to go over?
Yeah.
So Anna can hang out for a little bit and talk about that. I actually have a reasonably hard stop at 7 p.m. for me, but in 9-ish minutes, because I have to go meet up with Ralph Jochum and help him with some mural stuff for his class that he's doing next week, and this was the time that we had. So I'm gonna go off and do that, but Anna will be able to host everybody who's here, but it will be off stream, so maybe that's a good thing. Okay, so I'm going to open out round 2. So don't be typing in round 1 now. That's round 1 is finished. Why is that important? Right? What patterns or conclusions might be emerging? Maybe what I don't understand, Frank, why keyboards still come with a caps lock key. That's what I don't understand.
Oh, yeah. It's alright.
I do it too, and you accidentally hit it, and then you end up with lowercase first letters. I do it all the time. And unfortunately, I've got a keyboard where you can't remove the keys very easily. So I'd like to remove the caps lock key and the insert key.
Yeah.
Those are 2 completely useless keys.
Yeah, but you can't do it with this one.
We've got the same keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The light of the caps lock doesn't light up anymore. So then.
Oh, mine does light up, but that doesn't help me because I don't look at it.
Yeah. Nice setup with mural, Martin.
It's.
I'd like to compliment you.
It has taken a lot of iterations to get my murals, but literally I've got a drag and drop capability for most of the things now. Anna was always like, "This is the exercise we should have," and then I replace it with this one that looks with all of the setups. But yeah,
Has templates for every kind of exercise or every liberating structure. He has all the templates.
when you live in mural, because I'll quite often I'll spend at least I'll spend at least 16 hours a week, if not 24 hours a week in mural.
Yeah. So, but you did quite a time investment in developing all those templates.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Refining them, and then but it really pays off. Well, I do Miro, but you know.
Yeah. The only I always say, if I had this, I've opened out round 3, and in round 3 it's I've left the same text, but what now? Let me delete that text because it's confusing. What now? What could you do now? What could you change in the way you do things next? I like that. Improvement requires effort. Anna, that's a good one.
Sorry?
There's in round 2 there's an improvement requires effort.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people take time to realize.
Yeah, and I have to say that I've been trying in the dailies to do this experiments, and it doesn't work at first. You have to try it several times so that the team starts engaging with it, and for example, sharing metrics and helping them understanding the metrics. I know that the Scrum Masters are not in the daily to facilitate, but we need to help that event to be effective and positive. And there are a lot of techniques that can be used. Ones are metrics.
Yep.
I use flow metrics, the overall the aging work in progress. I believe that in the Scrum.org course, there's the Scrum
But there's the Kanban guide for Scrum teams, and then there's the professional Scrum with Kanban class, which I'm running one next week.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
I think in the other next to assets, there's the emblem of Scrum.org PSK.
Oh yes, that's so. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the metrics, but time caught up with us as it always does. We thought we'd left enough room, but it's always not true, right? It's always not true. But the way I think about it, Frank, is all of these things that I build in Mural are just invitations to a conversation.
Yeah. And bright colors and nice looking, structures do help. Simple as that.
And I think it's even more in the virtual world than in the physical world. Because especially when you go into to meetings and events and you're doing things online, you need a little bit more guidance, a little bit more focus so that we're all on the same page. So I do a number of workshops where I just start with a blank mural. And just use it to put notes on and have ideation, and it really does help. But all of my Scrum.org classes use these types of templates because there's just so many things to cover and so many things to talk about.
Obviously, in the physical world, when I run workshops, I do like to have as many different colour post-its, a number of different shaped post-its, and a number of different coloured Sharpie pens. And I bought something that had maybe 40 different colours in it. And you just tip these out into the middle of the table, and people would go, "Oh, I want the bright pink one, or I want the bright blue one." So at least it just makes it not a heap of yellow post-its and a heap of black Sharpies, and arrange some buns.
I have a graveyard of in-person class stuff piled up here, and I have another graveyard of in-person class stuff in that corner over there. Yeah. I'm planning. I'm getting a new computer in the next couple of weeks. It's actually almost shipped, Christian, so that's good. Getting this really powerful new computer, and I'm going to clean out this room, and I'm basically putting all of the in-person class stuff in the attic. I much prefer the engagement that I get with people in the live virtual space. I've got a blog post that I'm working on where I'm analyzing the data from all of my classes. So specifically for Scrum.org classes, I've done 67 classes since lockdown began, all live virtual classes. And I've got data of how many people passed the assessments. I've got people that have done Trustpilot reviews. So I've got all of my Trustpilot data. I've got all of my assessment outcome data. And I'm putting a blog post together to look at why I think it's better.
So you compare your in-person scores, or?
Yep.
Okay, interesting.
And I have average. For example, I have all of the assessment scores for everybody that's taken a class with me that took an assessment, and I've got averages for total averages and averages for each class as well.
So, but you mean to say that you're going to clear out that cupboard with all these board games? You're going to put them in the attic?
So it will give me room for more board games.
Okay, because I wouldn't do that. I would leave them there.
I'm going to leave them there, but I have all of this posters and all kinds of things in that space that needs to go, and more stuff over here that all needs to go. Yeah. So
But nothing beats a board game with a group of people sharing a table, eh?
No, absolutely. We've been doing a lot of live virtual board games, which is not as good. But I definitely like that camaraderie, that feeling of just playing them together. Even if when you're playing a Euro game and there's not really that much collaboration between, like a lot of the really heavy Euro games, there's very little contact between people. You're just playing against each other for score. But it's still a lot of fun and definitely cognitive. Yeah, Peter's got to go to the pub. He's gonna get blutered.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye. Well, I'm hoping that I'm going to leave you as well with Anna. I've summoned everybody in the mural to the feedback wall. So any feedback would be good. Maybe what next sessions you would like. I did notice, Anna, that almost everybody that came this time was a practitioner. So maybe we're not doing a introduction to next time. Maybe we need to do a more advanced topic. Maybe we need to go spelunk the PSPO2 or the PSM2 and see if we can't find some interesting things to talk about for the next time.
Well, I did get some nice ideas, and it's always good to share, with other people. I mean, the topic was it was quite basic, of course, but nonetheless, and you don't control the participants. I know that problem very well. So.
Yeah, some sessions we get lots of noobs, and that's great as well. Yeah. And sometimes we get lots of practitioners, and it's different questions. Right? It's different questions. We go different level of depth into things, and that's cool too. So we don't get to control.
And the most difficult, of course, is when you have those two groups in one session.
Yes.
How can you cater to both? That's not possible.
What's interesting is I do it actually. Well, I do it the same way that I do it in physical classes, right? Physical. You know what I mean. In professional classes, is I make sure they understand that part of their job is to help coach people in the different groups they're in, not give away the secrets, right? And see how those conversations pan out with people and see how you can shape them. Being a lean agile practitioner in the sessions as well, and that can be a lot of fun. Because Christian is an advanced practitioner, and he was in my PSPO last week with some folks he knows, and he was a lot of help in the sessions, driving some of the conversation, coming up with some of those ideas, explaining things in a different way than I would, which helps people understand, which is great.
Yeah.
So we are going to wrap up the stream. Anna is definitely going to hang out for a little bit because I know Frank has some additional questions.
Yeah, I'll be able 15 minutes later.
Yeah, I just.
We're wrapping up right now.
Yeah, so I am going to wrap up the stream.